my process is very I'm like either digging for something or I'm like I have like a brick of marble or like a big slate of marble and I'm like just chiseling away trying to like shape something. Yeah, it's like not about me, it's just about, letting the music do what it wants to do and just being there to like let it out.
Microphone check, 1 2. What is this? It's the 5'7" assassin in the podcast business. I am your host, Rohan Patra, the rap music plug at your service. Here we are again at the end of a rainbow. I had a rapper once tell me that I'm often hyperbolic. And this wasn't even said as a slight, but more so an observation that I know what quote unquote works to garner attention in this music journalism landscape. Now, while I certainly speak hyped up on social media, for example, about music and other things like sports, I'm actually extremely careful with my words when it comes to making definitive statements about anything, let alone my opinions about music. Because as someone with a platform now, I want my word to be taken seriously. So I never go to the absolute extreme and make those really giant statements unless I 100% mean it. So if I say something is my album of the year, that doesn't mean that I genuinely just love the album or it's one of the best to come out in that year. It means it is my number one album of the year and nothing else. If I wasn't sure about it, I would have just said it's one of the best and leave it at that. Why do I bring this up? Well, I wanted to paint that picture and reiterate that when I make big statements, I mean them because today's guest is nourished by time, an artist who is truly on pace to becoming one of my favorite artists of all time. And I mean that with my whole heart. After dropping Erotic Probiotic 2, an album that made my top 5 of 2023, Nourished by Time stock has risen tremendously, and not just in my personal musical world. Having recently signed to XL, his unique blend of retro synthpop, classic R&B, hip hop, and rock flavors has been growing in popularity by the day. And I was blessed to have Marcus of Nourished by Time on the show just a day after his new EP, Catching Chickens, just released. In this episode, we discuss his approach to songwriting, thoughts on his current rise in recognition, the impact of Erotic Probiotic 2, and his incredible new EP, Catching Chickens. Nourished by Time is quickly shaping up to be a generational talent, and if you followed this show at all and value what I say even a little bit, trust me, this dude is special and you do not want to miss this episode. The Rap Music Plug podcast presented by QLC TV is the remedy to the I don't have anything good to listen to problem. Through in-depth artist interviews, album reviews, and general rap commentary on the best that the underground rap scene has to offer, this is your one-stop shop to knowing what to add to your queue, play next, or pop into your record player. Welcome to the show. Marcus from Nourished by Time, how you doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
Very good. So, I remember when you came to Toronto, I think it was end of October last year.
Yeah,
You were performing with Vagabond,
yeah.
super dope show.
Thank you.
And we got to speak after the show for a bit, and I made it like abundantly clear to you how impactful your music has been.
Yeah,
And
yeah, for sure.
I I wonder, as someone who's been making music for a while now, not just under the moniker of Nourished by Time, but Riley with Fire, for example,
Yeah.
did you ever envision, let's say 10 years ago, maybe longer than that, when you were really starting to make music, that your art would move people the way that it seemingly has, thus allowing you to tour, get signed to
Yeah,
XL? Like, did you have that
yeah,
sort of self-belief from the jump?
yeah, yeah, I did. I don't know how it was gonna happen, but I knew what I was doing was like good enough and like that it could compete with what other people were doing. And we were just like with my peers. And yeah, I just didn't really know, yeah, how to break in because it's really hard to break in right now or just in the modern landscape of like music just because it's just not very tangible and so it's it's very much just like who you know. Like even the way I did it was I mean, someone found me, but it was like someone who could get my shit into places, that it needed to get. And so it's still very like there's still like a layer or like some kind of wall you have to kind of get through. And so yeah, it's just it's frustrating, but in a way it's cool because it just like when you like I don't know, you kind of learn that there are people looking for artists like me, all
Mm-hmm.
the time. And so it should like incentivize, other artists to just keep just making whatever they want to make and like because I don't like yeah, it should just be different, It should just,
Mm-hmm.
but
Do you feel like the kind of heightened acclaim recognition you've started to receive now, do you feel like it's affected you at all? Like, I don't know, mentally, your
um
self-perception, anything like that?
not really. I mean, maybe a little in the short term, but I think because I've been writing so long, like I've been taking like songwriting seriously for like maybe like 10 years now. And so it's kind of it's a little I don't know, it's kind of like a muscle now. And so it's more so funny. Like I like seeing what people have to say, whether it's like good or bad. It's like really funny to me. And I don't really yeah, I don't think I like have the capacity to like really change for anybody else like in like a really deep way,
Mm-hmm.
especially not like musically. Like I mean like maybe for like I don't know if it's like really intense or something, but
I actually heard this thought from this idea from Rick Rubin, Rick Rubin. He's a
yeah,
weirdly
yeah, yeah.
closeted right winger, which I've come to learn, which is a little disappointing, but
Oh,
he's
oh
still
yeah.
a influential music figure nonetheless, and he has this book that I heard in some kind of like podcast was referenced, which I did find was fascinating. The idea was that where he said an idea will come into existence when its time has come.
Mm,
And I feel that applies a lot to your rise in success because obviously there's tons of reasons to connect with your music that I feel, are kind of irrelevant whatever time, like time agnostic. But one of the
yeah,
key reasons I do feel it's especially resonating today is because it directly correlates to the current times we're living in a society where like, late stage capitalism, urban
yeah.
decay, mental health crises are all wreaking havoc in very unprecedented ways. And your music features a really keen awareness to these real life issues that everyday people are going to through. Like, I mean, you have a freaking line about a third place on Hell of a Ride, which I'm like, I've never even heard anybody say that in a song. Like,
Yeah.
and so I find it just fascinating how you blend all these topics into these otherwise like pretty joyful, sugary ballads. So like, what's the motivation behind weaving in these kinds of topics into your music, and like, what do you hope people kind of receive? Like,
Um,
how do you hope people receive these ideas?
I think it's just yeah, it's just shit I go through. Like I can only write about like things that I personally go through. And like I like to add, some like magic and like some like fantasy to it. But yeah, I don't really I don't know, yeah. I want to be an artist of my time. So like I thought it was weird that like I was like living through COVID. Like I made a whole COVID EP, like, like during COVID. And um I just thought it was weird that people weren't like talking about what was happening. It was like all the music that was coming out was just like very like normal. Like I think if you go back to that time, I don't think you're gonna find any music that is like, oh, that's distinct for that time
Mm-hmm.
um of what we were going through. And like not like it has to be like really, on the dot, because it is like kind of corny to, in like, kind of
Yeah, no, I heard
cheesy
that from a
like
lot
that.
of artists actually. They
Yeah.
didn't want to mention masks and like,
Right,
the
right, for
gay
sure. I
thing.
get it.
Yeah.
But to me, that's like I don't know. I always have like I always kind of like when I talk to my friends about creativity and stuff, like I always talk like or we always talk about finding a creative solution. And it's like, all right, cool. That's corny. didn't find a creative solution. Like, and I think people would just like kind of yeah, they just like have like they just use shit as an excuse because like they don't want to just like exercise a certain creative muscle or like because I don't know. Like I did it and like I think I did it like without like mentioning masks. I went after like the news
Hmm.
and I was talking about how like the news wasn't like wasn't being truthful and like wasn't like that divide in our country or like how the news was creating that divide in our country. And it's also, yeah, it's like more specific to my life. And because I'd driven across the country before, like by myself, and like I'd seen, the country from a different perspective.
Mm.
And so yeah, I don't know. All I'm saying is that yeah, just like I don't know, just like be creative. If you're being paid to be creative, then like be or like if you're paid to be an artist, be an artist. And I think artists are supposed to like try to yeah, like talk about the times. When you go what's that Picasso painting Guernica or something like that.
Mm.
Like when you look at that you're like, okay, like that looks great. And then you learn that that's about like what like the Spanish Civil War or something like that. It's like there's meaning behind it. And it's like
Mm.
but people like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people don't say, "Oh man, that's kind of dated."
Right,
It's
right,
like, yo,
exactly.
that's kind of
Yeah.
corny, man. Like it's
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
exactly. And like I do think like the art world is more protected, you know, like the respect around it is more respected. Where like music used to be a lot more respected and like seen as art. Um, and now because because music like you is so like
Commercialized and
or just like intangible, like it's
mm.
like easy to just be like, yeah, this is free, and like yeah, now it's like you know now it's free.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean like I feel like what you're saying about, not mentioning mass, just that idea of like there's a way to talk about something that's really on the nose and isn't really getting at the root of what is happening because obviously
Yeah,
what happened in with COVID was a very unique event, but what all the downstream kind of discussions, discourse, topics, themes that you could pull from it aren't like only found in the years 2020 to 2023.
right. No,
They have
no,
been
for
going
sure.
on forever. So like the way you
Yeah,
talked about it with like not trusting the news and just one example, like that's something that will stand the test of time in the sense that it's a larger impactful kind of trend that
yeah,
will resonate even if you're 50 years from now, I'm sure.
yeah. Hopefully, yeah, yeah. No, I think it just. I mean, and like definitely artists do it. I think like what's the word? There's like the difference between was it like convergent and divergent. It's like the way a lot of people attack something maybe just be like directly, where it's like maybe you should surround it or like go inside it and then go out of it, kind of thing. Just think of different perspectives and like not in the more just yeah, just like think of the third option. Like me and my friends used to
Hmm.
always be like, what's the third option? Because it's like we're always given two options, and like what's the third one,
Yeah, and I mean, like, speaking of third options, I think something when I've tried to be thinking about like why I really fuck with your music and it's connecting on a different level than other artists I otherwise like, and I think one thing it kind of just is about how I am maybe is that I'm not the type of person that really likes dealing with delusion. Like I hear a lot of people when they talk about getting over tough times, they kind of, and I'm not even really criticizing it. I just don't think it's for me, where a lot of times they take a more delusional kind of mindset to be like, just kind of fake it till you make it and just kind of only focus on positives and all these terrible negative things may be happening to you. And I
Mhm.
feel like your kind of music does two things, which is hard to do, I feel, which is that it doesn't ignore what's happening in the real world, which a lot of music does, but still it feels like uplifting and like there's still like light at the end of the tunnel to where it's like it's not bringing me down, but it's also not like gaslighting me, like
Yeah, yeah,
and I
yeah.
like that kind of experience, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't really like, preaching. Like, I don't really care what anyone does outside of like, unless you're hurting somebody else, but like, I don't really care what anyone does like with their life. And so, but I do care about like I care about things, but I don't like forcing other people to care.
Mm,
And like, I know if I care about something, then like that, like I learned a long time ago that like if I just do what I think is cool, then like it's gonna be cool at some point. Like,
mm,
like I remember like I used to get teased for playing guitar because I was like the only black kid in school who played guitar. Like the whole school was black, but like nobody played guitar. And like
shit.
it was just like it was just different. But by the end, like I started in like 10th grade, and by 12th grade, like those same people who were making fun of me were like asking me for lessons because like by then fucking what Tyler the Creator had come out, like
Mm,
Kendrick was out, like it was just a like Black Hip, like it was just a different time, it was like that like Joey Bat, like it was just cool to be yourself. Like it like things had just like kind of shifted, but I was just on it earlier, and like they weren't and it's like, and then when you learn about projection, you're like, oh damn, like yeah, they wanted to, like they probably wanted to be what I was doing, but
mm.
couldn't, didn't know how to, because like we're all kids and don't know how to process, things.
And like something else that I notice in your music a lot is like, there's this feeling of like anxious excitement, angst sometimes, and that's something I certainly can relate to going through those feelings a lot. And I wonder, as you create these songs and as you've like made this your career, taking this career path, like does the songwriting process feel restorative mentally or enjoyable, or is it actually potentially like draining because you might be like indulging in some darker mental
Yeah,
places?
yeah, it probably balances out. I feel like I like I feel like it's a very subconscious process. It's like half subconscious and half conscious, and so like it can be restorative. I think the satisfaction of like just like, yeah, finishing a song and like having a just like being proud of a song is like pretty restorative, and like, or like having something that expresses the way I feel, like I think it's just such a cool thing, like because I've just always like, like to write, like even when I was in school, like writing was just really fun, and I would like pretend I was different people and like write from different, perspectives. But I don't know if it's draining. I don't know if draining is the word. I think it's just like the process is just the process. Like the art process is the art process. And that's like, it's not supposed to be like easy, you know? Like my process is very I'm like either digging for something, or I have like a brick of marble or like a big slate of marble, and I'm like just chiseling away, trying to like shape something. And like it's all very not all me, or like it's like like I tap, like because I've been doing this so much, I can just tap into shit easy, and like yeah, just like not really like, yeah, it's like not about me, it's just about, letting the music do what it wants to do, and just being there to like let it out, like
Mm.
it's corny, it's super corny, but
I
it's
don't think
like,
that's corny at all. I
yeah,
love the
you know what I
chiseling
mean,
away
like it's just,
marble. I love
yeah,
hearing, I mean, this is
yeah,
why I did this podcast. I love hearing people,
yeah,
creative people talk about their process because it's always like it's one thing everybody has their own process, but two, even just trying to put it into words, it's sometimes just interesting to hear
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
what people say.
yeah,
And I actually first heard SWV's It's About Time album for the first
yeah.
time in full like
It's
2 days ago.
it's a great
And
album.
that's because of you, because I think you
That's
mentioned it
yeah,
somewhere that it's like your
yeah,
North Star.
yeah, I always mention
And
that shit. Yeah, it's
so
a
I was
great
like,
album.
I
Yeah,
should hear this. And immediately I was like, Holy shit, this explains so much because
Yeah,
right off the
yeah,
first song, I was like
yeah.
making those like in rap, I make like when I listen to music, I make like a screw face. That's a common thing people do. Like
Mm,
I have there's also like a singing screw face I make
mm.
with singers and like your music, and I made like the same kind of faces immediately. I was just like, oh,
Yeah,
this is so good.
they're one
Yeah,
of the greatest selling like women groups of all time. Like, it's pretty crazy that no one really talks about them anymore.
hmm
But
Like
yeah,
I'm surprised, like to be honest, because I
mm.
recognize all the songs, even like when I didn't
Oh, that's
consciously listen
cool.
to
That's
them,
cool.
samples
Yeah,
and just generally hearing them in the wild.
yeah. Like Weak is like like up there with like Beethoven shit to me. Like I think that shit is so fucking good.
It's incredible. And
Yeah, it's good shit.
I just found it was like the skeleton key for your music in a way because there's
Yeah,
this general feeling I've always gotten from your music where it's like it's pulling from like the past in a way,
yeah.
but even like in some of the singing styles, but then the application of the sounds, the lyrical content is very modern and just experimental. Like it's a whole mix of a bunch of stuff, gospel,
Yeah.
R&B, synth pop, even some like hip hop flares and like some of the freestyle, freeform stuff you do. And I just find the clash very interesting. So, when it comes to your ear, like what are the key elements of a song that you like really gravitate to and value the most and like want to make sure you kind of like foster in your music really well?
I've always really liked melody, and I've always just really like there was this class I took in college. It was like a Dionne Warwick class, and I was playing guitar in it. And it was very it was like kind of where I learned a lot about because like all of Dionne Warwick's music, or like most of it, is written by Burt Bacharach. And like he's a very old, like he's a very like proper, composer,
Mm,
like back in the, like, and like back when songwriters were kind of like considered composers. And like, yeah, just like the way he would compose a song, like, do you know the way to San Jose? There's this other song that's like so heartbreaking. It's like from Valley of the Dolls. But yeah, just like it's just like a bunch of music that's just like very I don't know. It's just the way it was crafted just struck me, and like having that tangible experience of like learning all of it, um and just like how it was, yeah, just I don't know, it just like really had an effect. But also like Kanye's music, like was probably like the first music that I ever listened to, like Through the Wire was like one of the first things I can remember, like remembering
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in a song. And I just remember listening to it on the playground somehow. But I don't ever remember like having it like having it on CD or anything. But like, yeah, just like the way Kanye, like, you know,
The way he
took,
arranges vocals is like always been one of his like
yeah, yeah,
genius type
that
shit.
that and just like, yeah, that and just like, yeah, just like the arrangement. And like I just never wanted to sample my, like, I always loved hip hop, and like I always wanted to, like, be a producer, but I never wanted to sample just because I'm like greedy, and I just wanted to keep the money to myself. Like I didn't want to, like, because like you already have to split mad shit in the like music industry. And so it's like I just never really wanted to like do that. And but so like I was kind of just like, damn, like it'd be cool if I could just sample myself in my own head. And like that's kind of like, yeah, how it all started. And I just started just like writing songs that like I wanted to hear. Um, but like when I write, yeah, because like I'm not a huge fan of like music from the past, or like music from the future, or like music from now that like sounds exactly um like the past.
Mm.
Like on some like I don't know the word for it, but just like
Yeah, like a retro, like yeah, there's a word for it. I
yeah,
know what you
like
mean.
revolution or some shit
Revivalism,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
rival. Yeah, like I don't like when it's like exact, like super, like because I do, but I do love balance. Like I like a mix of everything, and so like I, I've always been the type of person where like I'll take a little bit of that, even of like with people. If someone's like really really intense, I'm like, yeah, I'll just take like what I like about this and kind of just like not just like take you with a grain of salt,
yeah.
because everyone has things like has something to say. Um, but yeah, yeah, for sure. Like I think I just want to be like a really good songwriter without being pretentious. Be as yeah, just true to myself as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think you do a great job of that because I always found I've always loved about your music. There's just like always a bit of melody in everything. It's not just the hook,
Yeah,
like
yeah, it's a
Soap
lot. Yeah.
Party, it's like the bridge or, in the verse, like
Mhm.
it's just immediately there's something that's making me kind of just particularly engaged, and I just love
Yeah.
it. And you mentioned hip hop, like I know you're a big hip hop fan. You even like I saw you like not recent, it's actually a while ago, I don't know when, but you tweeted that that Nourished by Time is hip hop. I found that
Yeah, I think
interesting.
that's what I was mad hip hop.
Yeah, and I don't hear that like come across a lot because to be honest, the reason I even first got hip to you was your just like the Pitchfork review for Erotic Probiotic 2 like last year.
Mhm.
And the part of it that especially I thought it was a good review generally, but like the part that was really fascinating to me is that they make there's only really one allusion to hip hop, but it says like something something, they're making a bunch of different like genre comparisons and they're like
Yeah.
with the drums of like a RZA or something, and I'm like
Right, right. Yeah, yeah,
with the
yeah,
drums of like a
yeah.
RZA is really fascinating. That's not like what I was getting from the review so far. And then I heard it because like
Yeah.
you do use drums and just that's not the only thing, but like I said, there's kind of like a rappy sort of vibe to some of your songs. And so like yeah, as a hip hop lover, as someone who does incorporate that into your music, like what do you feel like or lessons or inspirations do you grab from the style of hip hop that you've incorporated into your artistry?
I don't know. I think it's just like hip hop is the like it's a culture, and it's like the first music I ever listened to. It's like really the only music I still listen to. That's not true, but like it's still like the predominant, like music I listen to. And it's just like the more like it's the culture I like tap into day to day. And so I think like when I write, like I'm trying to take it not like because I consider R&B hip hop, like I might be might be an extension of hip hop. Like, of course, I'm not like rapping like bars, but but I'm still I'm still like I think the way I write and like the intention that I put into the words that I say is hip hop. And I think like me using like only drums and drum machines, like still introducing like guitars and like all that stuff is hip hop. Like I think like LL Cool J said like once he was like hip hop is like who could do the most interesting shit over a break beat. And like yeah, I think like I do that. And so I think yeah, I think but also like hip hop is about experimenting and like, taking things to the next level and like I don't know. I think like if I'm hip hop, then like that's good for hip hop, you
I
know.
agree. I agree.
you know, but also like yeah, like it's definitely not, like directly hip hop, but I think I'm hip hop the same way like Frank Ocean is hip hop, or like
Hmm.
the same way like The Weeknd is hip hop or something like that. Like just in a more extension kind of way. Cause yeah, I would love to produce like more hip hop shit. Like I would love to like just like make beats and like or produce albums and stuff for artists that I care about.
I could definitely see that working. I mean, there's a lot of moments on Erotic Probiotic too in the instrumentals that like were
Yeah.
very conducive to a if someone wanted to start rapping on it. Like I know when you performed in Toronto last year, one part I really loved about the performance was that for the live set for Quantum Suicide, like you started without the drums at first and you just kind
Yeah,
of have the
yeah, yeah,
pulsating synths and I was just like
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
it made me like appreciate the drums more
yeah.
because I'm like they are so like they're just so hard. Like,
Like bring in the
it,
drums. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
Nah, for sure,
dope. Yeah.
for sure. Nah, thank you. Yeah, nah. I would, yeah, I'm trying to do more of that on the
Hmm.
next tour. I'm gonna have a bass player, guitar player, a little synths. Like we're doing like it's gonna be a little more than before, which is cool. But
That's it.
yeah, yeah, no, it's a yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. Quantum Suicide is mad hip hop, bro. Like,
Hmm. Like
but
100%.
but it's also like I don't know, like I don't know what Nourish by Time is to be honest. Like I don't really know where it I don't really think about the genre too much of it. I just like to make music, you know.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about Nourished by Time for sure is that the name is fucking fire. Like I just have to say that the name is so good. Like you got a thing with names. Erotic Probiotic too.
Thank
Like,
you, man. Thank
come
you.
on, man. What the fuck is
I used to work
that?
at a bookstore. I used to work at a bookstore, and like my mom is really into market or like she like works in marketing.
Hmm.
So like I would always like I'd always just like stare at book titles like all day. I would just like look at book titles, and I like the pattern of like a good sounding like name and like why because it's like
Hmm.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
yeah.
And so let's get into your last record, Erotic Probiotic 2. Like that's I'd say this is an album that I would die to have a instrumental or like karaoke version of this because
Oh yeah, that's a
I
good
swear to God, like I feel like
idea.
everybody around like the adjacent like units in my apartment have heard me just belt this shit out because like I don't know, you're one of a few artists that like I don't know, maybe it's your deeper voice and I have a deeper voice, maybe that's why, but like your voice is very sing-alongable. Like I feel like I'm hitting the notes. I'm definitely not, but like I feel like I am. I
No,
feel like I'm
I mean I
it's
might have to.
like I'm singing on a Sunday at church, a place I've like literally never been to in my life because I'm not religious,
Mm,
but it feels really good. And I wonder, like you mentioned before that you went to school for music. Like how has learning about music from a theory or academic perspective,
you
like do you
know,
feel helped you in your songwriting and your crafting all these melodies?
I feel like maybe from someone who like doesn't know anything about theory, probably thinks I like know a lot. And then someone who like actually knows a lot probably wouldn't really be like, oh, I don't know shit. So it's like it's kind of funny to me because like I wasn't very good at school. Like I wasn't like I was really just there to like just learn as much about music the way I wanted to learn about music. Like I would it like Berkeley was very like they were cool. They were just like very like it was a dope experience, just more so just because you were just around a lot of really cool musicians all the time. And like you got to see like where kind of like, brought up. But like it was really it was I mean, if you heard a lot of the music people were making there, it's not very like listenable
Mm,
unless you like know shit about music, and like to me that's like not at all the point of music. Like I I think it maybe helped me like yeah, it helped because like where like other people maybe had to go to college and like do other shit or like go to work, I had 4 years where I could just like play music, and like literally just focus on music for like and so I think that's kind of how it helped because yeah, that's when I really I was like I yeah, like that was kind of yeah, like when I started really focusing on songwriting, just like I just literally locked myself in a room for like 2 years and just just wrote songs and like yeah, just like I don't know, yeah, like I think it helped me, but it didn't really I don't know a ton about theory. Like I know the basics, like I
Mm-hmm.
know like how to make a chord and I know like you know like a little bit about modes, but like those jazz dudes are like because that's like it. Those dudes are like really, really, really good musicians, but
Mm-hmm.
you also learn that just because you're a good musician doesn't mean you know how to write a song, and like because songwriting is a melody, like it's yeah, it's or yeah, or it's a muscle, and
Yeah,
so
and I've read somewhere that some musician was talking about how like a lot of the ways our brains are like kind of wired is that we're attracted to when a pattern breaks. So I
yeah,
find a lot of times with music and artistry, like it's just that innate ability and talent and vision to know like when to break the pattern, when to do something that the theory necessarily doesn't necessarily tell you to do.
yeah,
Like that's something
right,
you kind of
right,
just need. Again, it's a muscle. You just kind of need to
yeah.
get your reps in.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, like it's because you gotta, I don't know, man. Yeah, it's like a lot of this shit is about like one thing I learned about songwriting is that you can't hide. Like everything is there. Like
Mm,
everything is like we can hear if you had a big budget, we can hear if you like did not have a big budget, we can hear like if you use auto tune, we can hear if you're trying to hide something, you can hear if you have nothing to say, like we can hear it, like we can hear if you rushed it, like it's and so it's like I don't know, like it's one of those pure art forms, like comedy. It's like you're funny or you're not funny. Like, it's like either that room is laughing or they're not laughing. And
that's so
it's
real.
like it's just a yeah, it's a for me, I just like I like the process of it. Like I really like I put out 5 songs, but I probably wrote like, you know, 300 in the last, year or two. And so it's like probably more. And so like I just like to write music.
Hmm.
Yeah, it helped, but I don't know how much. Like, it definitely. I don't know if I'd be here without like having so much time to like spend on music.
It
So
allowed you to get the reps in, it sounds like. That's kind of seems like the main
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
because you know what, like Malcolm Gladwell's book, that Outliers book came out when I was in college, and I remember like my like just obsessive brain. It was like perfect for it, and I remember just being like, "Oh, 10,000 is all you need."
Hmm.
Easy. So I was just like, I was like, yeah. I just got really into just practicing and just like consuming music. And then like you learn about the subconscious and you learn about all these different, ways about, just like the human mind and the way you process the outside world. And and then you go through like depression, you go through heartbreak, and you like go through real life, and like all that shit mixes together. And like if you're an artist, yeah, then you just like have something interesting to say. And I don't even mean me, just I mean, I do, but more just like from like my experience
Yeah.
of, from like what I've like gone through. Like I'm mostly just writing like for me. you know like
Hmm.
I definitely care about like a listener. I'd be like a complete liar if I said I was just it's all about me, like all about how like I definitely care, but I also like know that I learned to not take the listener for granted like a long time ago.
Mm.
Or like not to take their level of creativity and like understanding for granted. Yeah, because people can accept almost anything if you give it to them the right way. So yeah,
Yeah. And like this album, Erotic Probiotic too, like obviously it was like a really a big moment for you. I feel it's just such an inspired set of songs. And
thank you.
for me, like the way it impacted me was just that like I called it like when I did because this was one of my top 5 albums of the year of like any genre last year,
Yeah,
and it was
appreciate that.
the way I dubbed it was I called it the Control V album because it was like no matter how I was feeling prior to pressing play on it, like it just kind
Oh
of like
yeah.
copyrights it, and it just pastes in this just mood of feeling like a lot of passion, a
Yeah.
lot of energy, and it was really special. And but that's like how it impacted me. I wonder, like as the creator, what were you hoping people would take away from this album? Like how did you want people to come away, take away from this album? How did you want them to feel?
I don't know if I wanted anyone to feel anything. I mean, I think like I was coming from a place where like no one really knew who I was, and so I was just happy for people to hear it. Like I was just more so just shocked that people were hearing it. And I mean, when I write the music, yeah, I mean, like what I was going through, like I was going through like just heartbreak and like confusion in life, like anger and just disillusionment, like with the system. And yeah, just feeling lied to. And like, I still don't feel like I've gotten all my shit off, from that. And so it's like, I think that's like, yeah, that was just like even in the cover, it was just me just trying to be like, yo, fucking listen. Like, and it's like I was literally just like, yo,
Take this.
like
Yeah.
here, bro, here. And so like I think I like I'm not someone who really wants people to feel anything that they don't want to feel themselves, but I think I was just like happy that people were connecting with how I was feeling, I think, like, and it
Hmm.
made me feel less alone in the world, and it made me have a lot more faith in the world actually, because I'm like, oh cool, like people like get what I'm saying. Like I think I make really emotional music that's not like hopefully it's not manipulative. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just a person that is a magnet for other people like me, just in general. And so,
Hmm.
like, whether that's good or bad, like I think I'm someone who just like people have opinions about.
I mean, I think when I saw you live, something I took away from it though was I found interesting was like it was the way you perform these songs. Cause like obviously I didn't watch any live like YouTube clips. I just like came in there without any perception prior. And like it was very clear that it seemed like at least you're a pretty dramatic person, just in the way that it's very eccentric and like and I say that out of respect because
Yeah,
I am very
I
much
am.
like I
Yeah,
like drama. I like that's the kind of
yeah,
music I like. That's the kind of art I
yeah,
like. That's just kind of like I like the ups and downs, you know? And
yeah,
um I
yeah,
guess like, what it even just in the styles of music you create, not just like that performance style. Like
yeah,
I got that impression that you're just kind of like attracted to that side of life, like the kind of the more drama. Like what do you think
yeah,
your art
for sure.
generally says about you as a person?
Yeah, I definitely like theatrics and like
Hmm.
big shit, but also I like it's like because like I think I'm a good balance of both my parents. Like my dad is very, very simple, like minimalistic, like doesn't need a ton, like is very secure. Um, and like my mom is just like maximal, like everything. So like I think I kind of like yeah, I grew up with both and kind of like seeing the the pros and cons of both and like being able to kind of weigh them. And like so yeah, I think when I perform, it's mostly yeah, I'm I'm definitely not thinking like at all. I'm mostly just trying to remember the lyrics and like and like that's the only like thought that's going on. Like the rest of it is kind of just like pure, just kind of just like whatever. But I think it's yeah, I definitely would say I like even when I was like younger, I was really into yeah, this band called The Tubes, and they were just like yeah, like they were pretty much just like this musical theater band. Like but they were just like yeah, they were just so cool.
Mm.
And like a lot of their music was like very like sarcastic or like it was like ironic, kind of like Frank Zappa kind of shit.
Oh, I love that. That's so my
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah. It was like it was yeah, it's like they were very it was very like 80s. But yeah, I used to love shit like that. And so yeah, I definitely like but I don't know. I don't like emotionally manipulative stuff.
Hmm.
I don't really know. I don't think I've done enough like self-identification or like self-evaluation to really know. But but yeah,
No,
I
I
definitely
think you are a good mix of you're saying those two sides because like just even
yeah,
like going to this new record now, Catching Chickens, like right off the bat with Hell of a Ride, like I feel like you're good. Your music is still quite, I don't know, the there's not a whole necessarily a whole ton in terms of different instruments happening all at once necessarily, but like you really
yeah,
make them big
yeah,
though. Like
yeah,
Hell of a Ride just has that drum,
yeah,
the drums, and then the
yeah,
vocals, and it sounds giant, you know?
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I was really just generally really like so impressed with this EP. Just like first off,
Thank you,
like
man. No, I
I had
appreciate that.
high expectations. I was trying to be like don't
Yeah,
be that fan who just like oh like make
yeah,
another Illmatic. Like I don't want to do that. Like but fuck, it was actually so
yeah.
fucking good. And
Thank you.
it's always interesting seeing what an artist does after that first kind of breakout moment. And,
Yeah.
you know, having signed to Excel now on the heels of this success, like what was your like general mind state when creating Catching Chickens?
I kind of like it was like definitely I wanted to like make something that sounded like how I was like working now because I think like Erotic Probiotic was a really good album, but I think it it when it came out, I was like already making like Catching Chickens like pretty much. And so like I think I was just like ready for like the updated version of what I'm doing because like I feel like I can do so much and I just like I can't always show it all at the same time. And so like yeah, I just wanted it to be an updated version of what I was doing like and like um show people like different sides of like yeah, like music I could make. Yeah, because I think Hell of a Ride is like or yeah, I really like that song. Like I think it's a really good song. I definitely I'm glad like, you know, I can have that kind of separation between the two projects and like kind of have them both live together. And like because I think the fact that they both exist is important. And they kind of feed off each other. Because yeah, like they were just written like a couple months to a year apart from each other. But I think with Hell of a Ride, I wanted to like so much had happened in that like that year or like that 6 months to a year that I just wanted to like it was more so just me saying like look yeah like you know yeah shit's cool but like shit's still not cool like you know and like kind of just yeah just explain like what I was still going through and like what I was still thinking about but also yeah be like yeah like I can also do this. Like I can
Hmm.
also do this because I still, yeah, I feel very much like an underdog, and I probably will like my entire career. Like I think I'm always like I think I'm gonna have like just like you know I don't know. I think people are always gonna like underestimate me and like put me in a box, but like I
Why do you
think
feel that they're gonna do that?
because I'm like different, I guess, and like that's just kind of the pattern with people who are like different and like are hard to categorize and like
Hmm.
hard to like sell because I'm not gonna be like I'll play the game to a certain extent, but I'm not gonna like let it get in the way of my morals, um, and like who I am as a person. And so there's a ceiling to that where it's like because like that's the whole point of like celebrity is to sell things and like I'm not planning on being a celebrity like I'm planning on being like a just a weird artist who like has just enough money to like you know have a farm with some chickens and you know
Hmm.
foxes you know cattle and like but I'm like still in the city. I'm like, right, I don't know. I haven't really thought it through too much, but like, but like, yeah, like I'm just trying to be on my art shit, bro. Like, I'm just trying to like create and like add to the story, like while I'm here, up, up the like the bar for like like with my fellow artists of like what is good, like what's dope, like and like take the spot from these people who have been here forever and like aren't making inspired music anymore and just like taking space. And it's
Hmm.
like like I think it's cool, like we are seeing like new artists kind of come up. It's really inspiring, but like yeah, just like I feel very much like I never thought I would even be here, so I'm like I don't even care, like I just want to make dope music and like just yeah, just go out, just like go all out, kind of just like go as hard as I can
Hmm.
and like yeah, and fail. Like it doesn't need to be all perfect. Like I feel like, like yeah, like people definitely like there definitely like was an expectation, for the next project. And like, you know, I like shit like that because I come from like sports.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, but at the same time, it's like, like I don't care about any of that shit. Like, as long as I think it's dope,
I
you know.
saw, speaking of sports, I saw this quote, and it's not this guy's quote. I think it's like Donovan Smith from the Chiefs who says this in a like a Kansas City Chiefs, like one of those like super fancy like little videos about, and then it was about the Ravens game. And they were talking about, and they have a soundbite. I know that's gonna hurt, but it was about soundbite going in that game, and it's like, if not, it was the Bills one, but same point. It's like he just says pressure is privilege, and
That's cool.
I that's some kind of
Yeah,
famous
it's true,
quote.
man.
And
It's
I'm like,
true.
damn, that's like I'm trying to always remember that when I get anxious about something that
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I hope this works. It's like, yeah, but I'm in a position where
Yeah, it means
something good can happen that's like matters to
yeah,
me. And like that's
exactly.
awesome, you know?
Exactly. It means what you're doing matters on
Hmm.
like like some level. And that you care. It's like if you don't care, there's no pressure. And so and caring is a really good thing. It's like a really cool thing to do. And like yeah, so I totally agree with that. I think yeah, I'm not as worried about like the music stuff. Like it's more so like living,
Hmm.
like making sure that like that stuff is cool, and like, yeah, I just want to live life and like do dope shit and like write about it and like kind of like yeah, I don't know, just like have experiences and like get into ridiculous like I already get into really ridiculous situations like, but I feel like it's it gets worse, especially when I'm in like a big city. But like, but like it gets pretty bad in Baltimore too, actually. But like, yeah.
You know, you were on a you like had this like guest spotlight on Zane Lowe's Apple Music show
Yeah.
recently, and I peeped that, and you said something very interesting in that little soundbite you could give. You said
What
that
I say, what I say.
you said that this project, and I just found it to be honest really funny how you said it because you said it without like any affectation. It was really matter of fact. You're like, this
Yeah.
project will inspire the age of Aquarius.
Oh
And
yeah.
I don't, I just want to know like what you meant by that generally.
Yeah, the Age of Aquarius is like when like everyone's mind is supposed to open up and we're all gonna like fucking rebel or some shit. I don't know. But it's I meant it truthfully or like not as a joke, but also as a joke, because like in like 40-Year-Old Virgin, that's like the song that it's a really good song. Like the Fourth Dimension do it, but they do it in the end of 40-Year-Old Virgin when he like finally has sex. Like
Oh
they're
shit.
like this is the dawning of the age. But the first time I heard it was in Recess Schools Out. They play it in they play Let the Sunshine In, and it's like they package them in like it's like the same song. It's like it's like I don't know. I don't know how they package it, but the Age of Aquarius comes first, and then let the sunshine in. Like, let the sunshine, let the sun like that comes after. And they put Let the Sunshine in the end of Recess School's Out. I remember feeling like, yeah, this is a good song. This is fire. This is hard. And yeah, now here we are.
You wanted to inspire people with that. I love it.
Yeah, man,
Uh,
the Age of Aquarius. Yeah. Plus, like, yeah, like my ex-girlfriend would talk about it a lot. Or not a lot, but she would talk about it sometimes.
mhm.
And it's like, yeah, it's always coming. It's always it's like the,
Did you like I know with this being on Excel, I wonder if the recording setup was different in the that because like we talked about it before, like the I feel this album is especially nice because of the mixing and that kind of qualities to it.
yeah.
Did that change? Because I think I remember Erotic Probiotic too. You created that like in like your mother's basement, right?
Yeah, it was in here, yeah. It was I recorded the Catching Chickens the same way I recorded
Okay.
Erotic Probiotic too. And pretty much how I'm probably gonna record everything. The only thing I'm gonna change is probably just like the microphones, maybe. And like I've got some like nicer just like hardware just just to run shit through. But I don't think I'm ever gonna like record in a studio. Um I really like recording just in my room and my
Mhm.
laptop and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean I do like change though, like or I do just, change is inevitable and hopefully people are buying into, like the music and the tastes and it's like not so much based off of the because yeah, it's not gonna sound lo-fi forever, like I don't want it to sound lo-fi forever. And it's but I do want it to sound like real forever.
Yeah, it's got character to it. Like,
Yeah, yeah. It's never gonna sound because there's nothing perfect about me. So I don't think I could ever make like a perfect project or like perfect sounding like,
mhm.
project. And I don't think anyone wants that.
I don't think so. I think what you're doing is pretty good. Another thing this EP also crystallized for me is like the guitars really play a particular focal point on this record. And
Yeah.
going back to what I said earlier, I always find it fascinating to see what an artist does after that first breakout record because sometimes they can kind of just try to, oh, let me just create the exact same album. I want to make people happy. Or do they want to do something different? And I feel like while this is certainly like not an entirely new sound, I'm not saying that, but it is a bit of a different flavor.
Yeah.
And I think I really like the ebb and flow. You still do the big anthemic style shit really well, particularly
Yeah.
Romance in Me, which is I know like a
Mm.
re-release of an older track, but
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
when you hit that like in that first verse early on, you hit that like really low register when you say drives in narrow. Like I'm like, yo, that's that like classic R&B shit, leaving a country shit that like
Yeah.
is so
Yeah.
tough to
Yeah.
pull off, but you do it, and I'm like, this is fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
No, that's it. Yeah. 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 That's like the traditional shit, that's that,
Yeah.
you gotta pay homage to,
Yeah.
gotta bring back.
And so just like what was the primary vision you had for the sound of catching chickens in general?
I know I originally wanted it to be 4 songs, and then my manager was like, we should add romance to me. And I was just like, cool. So like that's kind of how that happened. But I think yeah, I think I just wanted it to be, yeah, kind of just like, yeah, before, like I just wanted it to sound updated. Like I don't know, like I was going through shit with my friends and just, and just in general with just people that were supposed to love me kind of thing. So I was like really like Road had you called and I was still kind of going like I was, yeah, just still going through shit. Just so I was just, yeah, just needed an outlet for just some of the things I was going through. And like, yeah, I don't really think too much about the genre. I kind of just like it's like the production is not a super conscious
Mm.
process,
Yeah, it
like it's
seems
not
like you're just like feeling your way through it all.
yeah, I'm kind of just doing shit. I'm kind of like I'm like kind of just like I think there's like like I just know what I like, and I know like when it's there, I don't know when it's trash. Like yeah, I'm always on to the next thing, like I'm working on the album now, like the passionate ones, it's like I'm always like I'm thinking about the album after that, like I'm just yeah, I just wanna make like I'm not so focused on the genre. I'm more focused on just the quality of it, like and that's a good song and that it's honest and true, and like is a moment in itself that like it doesn't need an album. It can just be a world in itself and it's just a good song.
Yeah, these were really some bulletproof
And,
songs, man. Like, had you
yeah,
called another example of like knowing it was you're pulling from some tougher experiences, but that's the song I'd pick if I wanted to play at a party. Like that's the number one out of this
yeah,
EP.
yeah.
And it's just funny because it's just like that the that's like songwriting heaven to me. It's just so freaking irresistible.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
yeah, and so like speaking of this kind of looking forward now, you said previously that this new album you're trying to make it so good that people hate Erotic Probiotic too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, how's that going so far, and what should people like expect from this?
Nice.
It's called The Passionate Ones.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
passionate ones.
What should people expect from that?
I think people should expect like more personal music and probably yeah, just like yeah, the same quality, just updated, just kind of just what I'm working on or like just yeah, just like how I'm feeling about the world. I'm feeling very like internal recently, like these days. Like I'm not as focused on like what's going on outside of me, which I don't think is very good. But like yeah, I'm kind of just I think with everything happening, I just like kind of just
Turned inward.
yeah, turn inward exactly. So and I think I want to like I definitely want to take more chances with the passionate ones and like maybe collaborate more with other people for sure and like just yeah just yeah just go outside my comfort zone like I could put it out tomorrow and be happy with it but I wanted it to be like a really 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 good album and so yeah I'm just filtering through everything. I'm like probably like 50% done with it.
Mm.
Like the songs are all there. I'm just like I'm still writing shit. I can't stop writing shit. So I'm kind of just I just want to have like a nice batch of songs to choose from and just like yeah, just like make sure it's like meaningful work. And it's cool because some of the music because I play so much like un or like I play a bunch of unreleased like music like when I'm on tour.
Hmm.
And so I I'll get messages from people and they'll be like, man, like what was that song? And like there's just one song that like I'm putting on the album that like people keep asking me about, which is cool. And so yeah, I'm just yeah, just super grateful to be in this position and just like yeah, I'm just excited to just be an artist.
Hmm. Is that
And
one you said that that's unreleased that you played? Did you play that in Toronto by any chance? I know
maybe
you played one like I didn't take a video of it or anything. I don't
mm,
remember exactly, but it was like, oh shit, that's kind of a
okay,
different
yeah,
difference. I don't think it was anything on Catching Chickens because nothing like rang a bell other than
probably
Romance in
not.
Me.
There's one
Uh,
that's called It's Time. That's the one that people are talking
mm,
about. But yeah, I don't even know what I played on tour, man. I was playing a bunch of shit.
yeah.
I
And
was,
you have an album after that that you're starting to work on too, like after Passionate Ones?
it's like not. It's a concept at this point.
Okay.
It's a concept at this point. Yeah.
Do you have a release date for the Passionate Ones, even close, or even like a timing
Uh,
maybe?
2025 is the goal.
Okay.
Early 2025 is the goal. Like first or second quarter is the goal.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
Yeah, that's the goal. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome. Before you get out of this, Ravens chances next year. What are your thoughts?
run all the way, man. We're like that's gonna be if you ask me in the preseason, like I'm that's always gonna be my answer. Like we're going all the way. I always think we're the best chances. I always think we're the. I think we lose it for ourselves every time. I don't think
I would
anyone,
say that's true.
no one ever beats us. We always blow it for ourselves. I think we're the best team in the league, and we have the most heart. And yes, and I think yeah, I don't know. I think yeah, Lamar is the best, and he's just got to get out of his head, man. He's got to get out
I
of his
just feel like that's what
head.
happened. He
Yeah,
tried to prove
people.
something. He could
Yeah,
have ran
man.
and they would have
Yeah,
dominated them, I
he's
felt,
got
or
to
at
get out
least
of his
had a
head.
better
Yeah,
chance.
I mean, he's still young. He's still like we forget how young these
I think
people
he's
are.
younger than me. Yeah. I think he's
I
like
think he is like,
25,
yeah, it's
26.
insane. It's insane, man. It's insane. It's like dude is one of the most talented people of his generation, at that position, and like is rewriting that position, and like has been for the past couple of years. And so it's like, yeah, I think, yeah, we're going all the way. It'll be a Passionate Ones comes out and wins a Grammy, and what's it called? Yeah, the Ravens win a
You'll
Super Bowl.
perform at the parade.
I'll be right in the middle. I'll come out like in SpongeBob. It'll be like like split the
You
half
know what's
court.
funny? My way of knowing I'm actually starting to get a little older, like I just turned 29, is that I realized that like these athletes that I think are just like, oh, you're just an athlete, you're older than me. Like I am like
Yeah.
significantly older than some of these people. I'm older than
Yeah.
Mahomes, which makes me uncomfortable a
Yeah.
little
How
bit.
old is Mahomes?
He's 20, I think he's 29, but he's like a later 29 than me. Or no, he's
Oh,
28, so he's not even 29 yet.
28.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's kind of
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
make me feel
Yeah.
good.
It yeah, it's pretty nuts. But it's like you couldn't pay me to play football. Like you couldn't pay me to
Why?
play
Because of like the CTE and shit?
that. Just like I mean, it's just like it's 5 300-pound dudes who are mad as fuck are just running after me like all the time. Like or they're trying to hit me or kill. Like I'm good, bro. Like I'm good. I'm good.
I'd
I'm
want to
good.
be a backup QB or like a third string QB because that's the dream. You're never even gonna get, you don't even get touched in practice, but you make like a cool 750,000 to a million a year.
no, you
Like,
make a lot of money. You make a lot
yeah,
of make a
like
lot of
that's
money.
the dream, and you get to still play in
Yeah,
the games.
but it's like you just gotta watch somebody live out your dream your whole life. Cause like nobody trains to be a backup, you know what I mean? It's just like,
Hmm.
it's just gotta watch somebody else just
All right, well, I think we can end the conversation there, man. I just want to say, like, I think what you're creating right now is going to stand the test of time, and
I appreciate
I
that.
just personally feel like your music has really been there for me through like a really tumultuous last year, especially.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm just really grateful for what you do. So thank you.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, I'm definitely glad that, it could help in any way for
Oh
sure.
yeah. I mean, it's on
And
the up
people,
and up now, so
yeah,
it's
dope.
been there
Yeah,
for the
dope.
good times as well, and will be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. And thanks for your support. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this was a dope conversation. Really,
Yeah,
really
no,
had a
yeah,
good time.
super easy, super easy. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll see you in June when you come to Toronto again. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, dude, not for sure.
Peace.
Sounds good.
So there we have it, another episode of the Rap Music Plug podcast presented by QLC TV. I hope this episode gave you some new perspectives and insights into what the greatest art form known to man in hip hop music has to offer. If you want to support the show in the most meaningful way possible, it would be my absolute honor to have you as a patron in the new Rap Music Plug podcast Patreon. Through this Patreon, you will be getting exclusive content such as bonus episodes, exclusive album recommendations, exclusive playlists, early access to episodes, and more. And above all, though, you will be able to support the show directly in a way that will not only justify the crazy amount of time I spend on this show already, but allow me to cover some of the expenses related to supporting all of these great artists that we cover on the show through the website, and will allow us to sustain and build on this amazing growth that the RMPP has experienced recently. So if you have any questions about any of the Patreon stuff, or just want to keep tabs on the show, interact with me on rap music and all the great stuff that we can talk about, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at rapmusicplugpod, or shoot me an email at qlctv.podcast@gmail.com. You can also rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify as well. But that's enough self-promotion for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace.